we're going to learn all about his new book that's called Hollywood Heartbreak, New York Dreams. A lot of stories. I've been reading it. It is really exciting. Oh my goodness, Kody, welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you?
Hi. We met a few months ago, and you were telling me that you were writing this book, and I said, hey, I've got a TV show. I'd love to have you come in when you get it released.
Yeah, it was so weird. Like, I was not even close to finished with it, but you were so wonderful, and you said, I have this show, and I said, well, I hope you could put me on the show one day. And you said, well, let's put it maybe 6 months to 8 months down the line. And you wrote me down, and now we're doing it. So
isn't that great?
Fantastic that it all came together.
Yeah, and I've been following you on Facebook, so I knew it was coming around, and you were getting it edited, and then, you know, it's really wonderful to see an end product, you know, with it, because, and it's a memoir too, right?
Yes, it's a true story.
It's a true story. You lived the Hollywood fast life.
The Hollywood fast life, which also included a lot of drugs and partying, celebrities. I was in the middle of all of it. And
Tommy Lee and other rock stars.
Yes, I Playboy Mansion. I worked at this wonderful cake shop. We did cakes for celebrities, for the TV shows and movies. So any prop cakes that you see, we probably did it. So I was in the scene. I was delivering to celebrities' houses and doing charity events, like with Jessica Biel. We did cupcakes with the children's at the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, which was such an amazing event. Changed my life too, you know. So it was great. But for every good that was happening in Hollywood, there was a dark side.
Boy, you had the fast life. I was reading all that stuff. Wow, hanging out. You were even involved in a relationship with a rock star, and that's part of the Hollywood heartbreak, right?
Right. That is definitely the big part of the first half of the novel. This person and I were involved in a relationship, best friends, closer than that, and it affected a lot of my life, and you know, the reason I left.
Right.
Just not exactly the reason, but it was like the last straw. You know, it was like, this is it. So, but I'm glad it happened.
Now you're a professional actor as well. Were you out in Hollywood acting, or was that the reason why you moved there? Because you were originally in New York and then moved out to Hollywood.
Right. Yeah, I was in New York. I was hosting a show as my alter ego, Sarah Summers, in the book, Brittany Valentine in real life. And I moved back to Texas for a couple of years, and then I got the opportunity to be in Miss Congeniality 2. Oh, wow. Playing a Britney Spears impersonator. So basically, I was playing myself. And I fell in love with a porn star, and I moved in with him. And so, yeah, I went to do acting, but then I got involved in this cake shop, and that's how that became sort of my life. That and the nightlife became my life. So I kind of lost my dream of acting.
And I understand that you were also Britney Spears' decoy. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, back in 2002, she had a restaurant called Nyla, and they had me come in dressed as her. I would have my friends pretend to be my assistants, and there was this big staircase that led to this catwalk, and I would get up there and I would dance a little bit, and the crowd would scream, thinking Britney Spears was there, you know? So then we'd walk to the VIP area and we'd get to drink and dance for free. And I met her dad, I met her mom, I met everybody in her family. I got to hang out with her a couple times. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. She's been a big influence in my life. Her music and seems to parallel the events in my life, which I talk about in the book. Some of the songs, like Stronger, was her #1 hit song when my mother passed away when I was in high school. And I actually performed that at my last show choir event. So looking like her when I dressed up and her music being parallel to my life, she's like my spirit animal, I guess you could say, which is it's
very
nice.
Good, very good.
We're both Southern girls, so you know.
That's great. Is she from Texas as well?
She's from Louisiana.
She is, okay. I remember seeing her on television. I was like, go Britney. And I remember she was on the Today Show, and Kody Christiansen was like, how can you let your daughter, who's a teenager, be doing all these things? And I'm like, why not?
Right,
you know?
right.
Let her have her opportunity.
Right. You only live once.
That's right. You know, you can always go back to school. right?
To school, yeah.
And she's done a lot for herself and
And
influencing a lot of people.
I'm very proud of her. Like, she had a crazy year in 2007, but she pulled herself together, and look at her now.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I am so happy to say that I've done too. I mean, I shaved my head in New York when I was here the last year. I had one of those moments where I went kind of crazy. And so I understand exactly why she did it, you know, and being able to pull yourself out of that lowest moment, it's really amazing.
And it's hard to go through it, especially when you're like in the eyes of the whole world watching in the media and stuff like that.
I'm very proud of her.
And people have to be very strong, and you have to be very strong because you're now celebrating your first year of sobriety.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
In a couple of days.
Wow.
It'll be 1 year of sobriety. Gay Pride in New York City is this weekend, and it was actually Gay Pride last year when I had my last drink.
Good for you.
So it's actually wonderful that this is happening on.
I'm glad to
on
celebrate
that
it.
day. Thank you so
with
much.
you. Yeah, because I think it would be very difficult, you know, to go through what you've gone through and to be able to come out of it in a fast city. You know,
no,
it's tough.
I'm very proud to say that I made it in New York. In New York, if they say if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. So
Right.
I made it.
Yay.
Yes.
Yes. And so you have a book release party coming up?
Yes, we're going to be, and this is fantastic. And my book is going to be, it's already released, but we're having the actual event the 10th of July at Stonewall.
Now, how incredible is that?
The world famous Stonewall, where the gay rights movement began. I had one of my first shows there when I was here in 2002, and it was actually the first place I went when I came back to New York City. With the clothes on my back and the money in my pocket. But I went there that night because it was like going home, you know, and thank God it still looked the same, and like some of the people that still worked there were there.
Really?
So
great.
it was like being home, and I knew right then, I was like, I'm home. And,
That's great.
This is where it's going to happen.
People need a support group, you know, and family. And if we don't have it in our immediate family, we need to create it for ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And Stonewall Inn has been in the news quite a bit the last couple of weeks too.
And I think today they became a national monument. Like,
really?
They're a monument now. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, that's really great.
I'm very excited for them. So having it there is just like kismet, wonderful, and I'm so honored.
So the book release party is July 10th?
July 10th at 7 p.m. It's a 2-drink minimum, so anybody is welcome.
And you're going to be performing?
I'm going to sing a little. There's a song that I sing in the book a couple of different times in very important moments of my life, and I'm going to do that there.
Good
live.
for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So another moment that's super amazing and important that I'll be doing.
And your book is just recently released, and you've already gotten a 5-star rating on it from what
Reader's Favorite.
Reader's Favorite.
It's international book contest and review company, and I'm super happy about that.
And number one on Amazon?
Yeah, I was this week. I was the #1 hot new release.
Wow,
I just released.
That's huge.
I can't really believe it.
And it's your story, and you wrote it like you were on the train. You said?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I live in the Bronx. Cody from the Bronx.
The Bronx.
Yeah, right. Like J-Lo. I'm gonna make it like she did. So I work downtown. We film one of my TV shows that I'm on, Blacklist. We filmed that downtown sometimes.
That's a huge show.
Yeah. So I'm very proud about that. So I had 45 minutes from the Bronx to downtown New York. So during that time, I would write on my phone.
Isn't that something?
Most of this book was written on my iPhone, and then at night when I would get home, I would email it to myself and then edit it on Word.
Isn't that something?
So yeah, that's pretty cool. So these thumbs did a lot of work.
Yeah, because it's a great read. I've been going through it and peering into your life, and I was like, wow, on some of the, it's kind of really mouth dropping.
It's all true. I like what the reviewer said for Reader's Favorite. She said, "This is not a fictional tale being told for extremes, but someone's real life. I held my breath in parts, cried in others, and laughed as well. I was joyful when Caleb managed to pick himself up from the pit of being addicted and on the streets of New York to find life again. A true inspiration to all of us. It leaves the reader with a feeling of the ability to overcome almost anything."
God bless.
Yeah, and that made me, I teared up at that moment because it was like, this is someone who's never met me, doesn't know my backstory, and read my words and was that touched by it. And that's what I really want to get out there, that I hope that people will read my words and see that you can go through terrible, crazy, hard times, but you can get through it and you can really continue to follow your dreams. You stay strong and you dream big, and you go for it, it's possible.
And you attract the kind of energy,
right?
The positive energy
when,
that you need.
When you are feeling
Yeah.
positive and
Yeah.
you are working towards the better you're following your divine path, which I speak about in the book as well. It's really crazy how the world, the universe, brings these things to you, because you are a magnet, and if you're down and you're thinking negative thoughts, of course you're going to attract negative things. But it's the opposite. If you're doing positive things will happen. It's true.
And that's when we met, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd been sober for a couple of months.
Good for
I'd been on
you.
the Blacklist for a couple of months, the NBC show Blacklist.
Yeah. You're an FBI agent?
I am a technical analyst.
Technical analyst.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
And they've also created a cartoon or series, right, after that?
I'm in it's a
Good for you.
comic book, so I think we have some pictures that I'll
Yeah, it
show
would be
later.
time for the control room to roll in the photos for us that we can kind of see Kody as an actor.
So there's me working in the
FBI room.
in the war room, and we call it.
Wow.
Yeah, looking at some evidence, I'm sure.
Are you actually in the FBI location downtown, or is it
It's
just
it's a studio.
Okay, it's a
stage.
studio.
So this is actually me in the comic book that was released this Wednesday. That's my character, and then the artist sent me a preview, and then the top image is actually what came out. So I was super happy with it, and it's such an honor because there's a lot of recurring background characters on the show, but I think I'm the only one who got to be in the comic book.
And you're the top,
Yeah, with
the left with the
glasses.
glasses, the second from the left at the top. Good for you.
And those are the two stars. It's,
Okay,
I work with them all the time.
Oh.
So I'm right there with them. In a comic book, it's going to be around forever. It's huge. So
That's
I'm
fun.
honored. I'm super honored.
Wow, that's good.
That's me in the war room. I think
Yeah.
she was talking about Beyonce in that episode.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very funny. It's a great episode.
That's great.
This is on The Good Wife. This is my first actual featured appearance, where I was picked out of maybe hundreds, thousands of people to sit next to one of the stars, and we were being added to the roster of the law firm. So it was super cool.
I came to New York wanting to be an actress, so I really enjoy seeing people's lives and how it evolves and
Let me tell
all
you
the
something. You can do it. You can still do it.
You think I could do it?
Believe me. Believe me, you can do it.
Okay.
I'm living proof that you can do it.
Good for you. Go ahead.
This is Sarah Summers, aka Britney Valentine, which is the name I have gone by since I started doing it professionally. In the book, I call her Sarah Summers because I mentioned Britney Spears' name so many times, but I didn't want the reader to get confused.
Okay.
And also, Sarah Summers was the name that I came up with first when I first started doing drag or female illusion, as I like to call it. Sounds a little nicer. But if I ever transitioned, which I did, there was a time in my life I thought about it, I would be Sarah Summers. So I got to use it in the book, which was fantastic. People always ask me, how do I get that cleavage? It's makeup. No, it's makeup.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, there's some makeup.
One time I did a photo shoot and they pushed me up with all this duct tape, and it was like, oh, painful to have to take it off.
There might be some silicone inserts
really?
that I use sometimes.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Gorgeous.
That's when Britney and I first met. That's us there on the right, and that's me on the left.
And you've been on a lot of shows because of your impersonation of her.
I was on Ricky Lake, Tyra Banks. I was in Miss Congeniality too. Some of the best times of my life, my young life. was fantastic.
Very good.
There's us. We were so young and innocent back then.
So cute.
This-
Look at that. Yeah.
That came out, her picture like that, both of these came out this year, those pictures, and it was just odd. Like, obviously we didn't plan that, but just
Isn't
the way
that incredible?
The way they look.
Do you like really study her character?
I haven't in a long time. When she first came out, I did, but now I'm trying to be Kody more. Like, there was a time when I was Britney Valentine, literally every night for like months, and I kind of lost myself. So now I'm getting to follow my dreams as me, and I still
Good
do
for
some
you.
stuff as her as well.
That's great.
That's Ricky Lake, the episode I actually won. I kissed the Madonna impersonator. It was very shocking. Ricky Lake said she was in talk show heaven. Yeah, that was a good one.
That's great.
I was on the set of Extra with Mario Lopez. We filmed a sizzle reel for a show for the cake shop. Hasn't got picked up yet. Maybe one day.
Look at that.
Tyra Banks, that was super fun.
Was that here in New York City?
That was here in New York, yeah. I was living in Texas, so I got a free trip back to New York.
Wow.
So I get to see some old friends for a couple days, which is great.
Yeah.
Tiffany, I got to share a cupcake with my idol, Tiffany. This is one of the events, the cake shop donated Oscar cupcakes to the APLA Oscar event at the Abbey in West Hollywood. And I got to hang out with celebrities, and meeting Tiffany was fantastic. I was a huge fan.
Yeah.
And so.
That's when it's really fun. It's like,
Think we're alone now. It doesn't seem to be anyone around. I was like, yes. Me, Hef and the girls.
look at that. Is this is a Playboy Mansion?
Yes.
You always said?
Yep.
Look at that. I think it just sold too for millions and millions of dollars.
One day, Ginger, we'll be able to.
There
afford
you go.
that.
Good for you.
The New Kids on the Block were at this party. It was actually a party for Diablo Cody, the Oscar-winning writer of Juno, and I got to cut the cake. It was fantastic. Amanda Seyfried from Mean Girls and Mamma Mia, we did shots together when I was still drinking. Miss Diablo Cody herself, she said, if we got married, my name would be Kody Cody. It was just hilarious. I taught Mila Kunis how to make cupcakes at the bakery.
I love cupcakes.
And this is actually a picture of me from when I was probably at my worst with the drugs and the drinking, and then just recently. And it just shows how much. And I thought I was hot back then, you know. And it shows how when your mind is on drugs or alcohol, you don't really see the world as it is, and you don't see yourself as it is. And there were so many friends who were telling me to quit, and you know, you won't quit until you're ready. You have to be ready to do it. And I finally found to be ready when I came here to New York.
Good for you. Good for you.
And I'm now in the NYU bookstore. They're selling.
Isn't that something?
Such an event for me because I applied for New York University last year when I was sober for the first time. I didn't get accepted, which could have been pretty tragic. I could have gone on a bender or something, but I didn't. And now I'm actually in the bookstore, so I'm sort of in NYU.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Thank
boy.
you
I can't imagine what you've had to go through. And you have to stay strong all the time.
You gotta stay strong.
I went downtown last night, the Soho House. Divinity Rocks was there for kind of a private party, and I didn't do any drinking because I have the show the next day. But everybody was drinking, and you have to be really strong outside of that environment.
You're right.
Or
and
in the environment, yeah.
Because I'm a bartender at
boy.
Perigo in Soho, a wonderful place that has become a rock in the family that I've had there. The owner, Catherine, she's like a mother to me.
That's wonderful.
I bartend, I met you there. And
I worked down the block.
People ask, how do you bartend and stay sober? And I said, well, because it's a choice that I made.
Yeah.
I realized how much better my life is without alcohol. So to me, it's a product now that I'm serving to my customers. But now I serve it more conservatively, because
interesting. Mm-hmm.
I realize that these people's lives are in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And also I get to be sort of a counselor to some of them. Some of them, when they find out, they're like, wow, why did you quit? You know, all that, and I get to talk to them. I've had a couple of customers come back to me and say, thank you for your story because I quit and my life is getting better. I've gotten emails from people from my high school on my Facebook because I post a daily blog, you know, just my day, like 356, that's the number of days I've been sober. So I post about the day. When I have bad days, I post about that too. You know, sometimes I feel like having a drink, but I don't. And
is this like a self-cure for yourself, or are you actually going through like maybe an AA program that is helping you through?
No, I don't do AA. I think AA is wonderful. I know it works for a lot of people. For me, it didn't work. Like I tried it a couple of times. I became kind of addicted to AA. Like instead of spending that time that I was spending drinking, I was just going to meetings, which is great for some people. But for me, I wasn't doing anything to better my life, like on the outside. Like I wasn't doing anything productive to move forward. So I quit, and I just told myself that I'm quitting. There was something, you know, beautiful that happened, and I talk about it in the book. If you don't mind, can I read a little bit?
Love to have you read it.
So this is actually last year, Gay Pride. The day of Gay Pride parade, I walked out of my room towards the bathroom I shared with the 40 other guys living on that floor. And I was pretty shocked to see a pile of human feces just laying against the wall in the hallway. What a piece of my life had become, literally. I was living a life surrounded by and I couldn't wait to get out of there for the day. I went down to the cafeteria where they served 3 meals a day and got lunch. The food was not anything to write home about, but I was grateful for it on the days when I literally only had pennies to my name. After lunch, I made my way into Manhattan and used the other half of my bi-weekly government assistance money to buy a giant bottle of vodka and some snacks at the parade festivities. I ran across a private party in a random park where I pretended to know the host and was allowed entry. I ended up drinking for free the rest of the day and don't remember much except for the gay couple I saw sitting on a bench just holding each other. Even in my drunken haze, I could remember thinking how sweet it was and how badly I wished I had someone to love me like that. Someone to hold me while I was going through some of the worst emotions I had ever felt in my life. I thought about how different my life would be at that moment if Liam had been different, if he had let go of his ego and really let our relationship have a chance. F him and F everybody else for not being there for me and letting me end up like this. Maybe they would all be happier if I was dead. Maybe if the people in LA got a call from some random case manager in New York telling them that Caleb was dead, they would all live a better life without me. Drink, drink, drink. Drink the pain away and the thoughts away, and maybe I can finally be free of all this S that was my world. I drank a lot that day, and somehow I made it back to the Y in Queens, and I woke up in a twin-sized bed sick as a dog. I threw up and even threw up some more. I tried to eat some food, but I couldn't keep anything down. Not even water could rest in my stomach at this point. I must have had alcohol poisoning again, and it was complete agony. The vomiting lasted through the next day. I think maybe I got 2 hours of sleep during those 48 hours. The chills and then the sweats, the head pain, and the hunger I couldn't satiate were driving me insane. I honestly felt like I was going to die, and at that moment, I didn't care. I didn't call for help, and I just let myself suffer through it. Self-punishment, I guess, for the life I was living. I didn't want to go on anymore. I looked around the room at that plastic grocery bags filled with vomit and the empty vodka bottles littering the room and said to myself, if you make it through this, you have to quit drinking for real. You have to give it your all.
God bless.
And thank God I did.
God bless. I've heard of people where they've drank so much vodka, you know, half bottles, full bottles a day. They actually have to be admitted into a hospital, put in a coma as their body gets weaned off of it. So, and you did it on your own.
Yeah.
God bless.
I just knew it was something I had to do. There was something different this time. And a couple of days later, I was watching TV at like 3 a.m. and this person came on, and it was one of those late night evangelicals, and he said some really amazing things that I took to heart, which I talk about in the book. I'm not Christian, Jewish, Muslim, anything, but I really respect all religions. You know, I've been known to go into a synagogue or a church and just pray and just experience the
I was wondering if
spirituality.
you had a religious experience during this healing process. Do
Yeah,
you
I
consider yourself more religious now?
Oh my gosh, like there were signs that could be seen once my mind cleared that were just like showing me the path. They're like, you're on the right path now.
Good.
Which I detail some of them in the book. And so I hope that people who are religious or spiritual, or even if you're not, you can read the book and maybe get some kind of motivation and inspiration to change.
Because a lot of people have addictive personalities. I mean, many people introduce themselves, you know, it's like, I'm very addictive, you know, and it could be on chocolate, and it could be on sugar, it could be on exercise. I mean, it's not, you know, not just alcohol.
Right. You can use the words in this book to kind of help you with any situation. I mean, I was in the homeless shelter system here in New York City for 1.5 years.
Gee whiz.
Which was tough. I mean, I was living this privileged life in Hollywood, surrounded by celebrities and rock stars, and had a great job, a beautiful apartment. And when that all came crashing down, I was at a point where it was either kill myself or get the hell out of there. And so, you know, one night I just decided to leave with the clothes in my bag, the money in my pocket, and I ended up here. Thank God for the New York City government, the wonderful programs that they have available. I ended up in a shelter, you know, in the Bronx, and surrounded by gang members and ex-cons and drug dealers, and some of them became my friends. And I learned so much about myself. I became a better person, a more open person because of my, you know, my experience.
I've volunteered my time in homeless shelters, and it was very difficult for me, you know, and that was the way of your life for 1.5 years, and you got out of it.
Yeah,
God
and
bless.
I got sober in the shelter, which is even more unheard of.
Wow.
Because there was drugs all around, and you know, I was scared for my life sometimes.
Sure.
you
Yeah.
know, but
Well, you made it.
I
You
made
made
it.
it here in Ginger, New York.
I made it, baby.
Congratulations. You've got a great book out, Hollywood Heartbreak, New York Dreams. Be sure to check it out. It is a 5-star review, #1 on Amazon. You've got a
Very
book
excited.
release party coming up July 10th.
Yeah. For more information, you can go to heartbreakdreams.com.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're down to our last 20 seconds. So, Kody, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
and
Thank you for
doing
having
a
me.
reading, letting us have a little insight about what your life's been, and God bless that you're here and talking about it, and be motivated.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time. Ginger, New York, every Friday afternoon at 2 p.m. We'll see you next week, and thanks a lot,
Thank you.
Kody.
Thank you.
Yay.